They told you good men always triumph, that honesty is enough, that patience is rewarded. But history shows the opposite. The ruthless win, the naive fall. Machiavelli exposed this centuries ago. Kindness without strength is weakness, and power belongs not to the pure, but to the strategic. If you've ever wondered why the manipulator rises while the honest man struggles, why the liar is crowned while the sincere is forgotten, stay with me, because tonight we uncover one of Machiavelli's darkest truths. Why the ruthless always win. The illusion of goodness. We grow up being told that good men always triumph, that honesty will be rewarded, that kindness, patience, and humility open the doors of respect. But history shows otherwise. Again and again, it is not the kind who win, it is the ruthless. And Machiavelli exposed this truth centuries ago. Goodness without strength is weakness. Kindness without strategy is submission. And in a world ruled by power, weakness has only one destiny: defeat. In politics, the naive leader who tries to please everyone is devoured by his rivals. The one who hesitates to make harsh decisions, who avoids conflict for the sake of peace, ends up overthrown, forgotten, erased from the throne he thought was secure. Meanwhile, the ruthless, the one who dares to act when others stall, seizes the crown. He may not be loved, but he is obeyed, and obedience keeps the throne standing longer than love ever could. In relationships, the man who believes that being endlessly good will guarantee him loyalty soon discovers betrayal. He sacrifices, he bends, he gives, only to find that kindness without boundaries breeds contempt. But the ruthless man, the one who is not afraid to say no, who refuses to beg, who walks away when respect is gone, he may not always be adored, but he is remembered, desired, respected, because strength in love commands more than endless submission ever will. In business, the good boss who tries to make everyone happy ends up with chaos. Employees test limits, competitors exploit weaknesses. The vision collapses under the weight of trying to please. But the ruthless entrepreneur, who dares to cut what must be cut, who risks what must be risked, who stands firm against opposition, builds an empire. And when the empire stands, no one asks about the sleepless nights or the brutal choices. They only see the victory. They only see who survived. This is why the ruthless win, not because cruelty is always needed, but because strength cannot be faked. The good man who refuses to be strong becomes prey. The ruthless, even when hated, becomes untouchable. And the world remembers not who tried to be good, but who dared to win. Respect built on fear. Love fades, but fear endures. Machiavelli understood what most men never dare to accept, that fear is a stronger foundation than affection. The ruthless win because they do not waste time chasing approval. They command respect. And respect built on fear lasts long after affection is gone. In politics, we see this every day. The leader who seeks love is destroyed the moment he makes an unpopular decision. The crowd that once adored him now throws stones. But the one who rules with authority, who makes the hard choices without begging for applause, survives. He may not be adored, but his people obey. And obedience is the currency of power. In relationships, the man who only tries to be liked becomes invisible. He apologizes, bends, compromises endlessly, and ends up discarded. But the one who imposes boundaries, who is not afraid to walk away, who shows that disrespect has consequences, becomes unforgettable. He may not always be loved, but he is respected. And respect keeps desire alive when love alone would have died. In business, the friendly boss who wants everyone's affection is ignored. His words carry no weight. But the ruthless leader, the one who inspires both admiration and caution, keeps his team disciplined, his rivals cautious, his vision alive. Because fear and respect, when balanced, create loyalty that affection alone never could. This is why the ruthless win, not because they are cruel without reason, but because they understand that respect is stronger than fleeting love. They know that power does not rest in being liked. It rests in being remembered with caution. And those who master this balance stand unshaken. The mask of morality, the ruthless win, because they understand appearances. Machiavelli revealed this centuries ago. It is not necessary to be truly moral. It is only necessary to appear moral, because people do not see the truth. They see the mask you wear. And he who controls appearances controls perception. And perception is more powerful than reality itself. In politics, history is filled with leaders who spoke of justice while practicing corruption, who promised peace while preparing for war. And the people, blinded by the mask, followed them, not because they were good, but because they appeared good. The naive man who reveals every weakness, every doubt, every flaw is destroyed. The ruthless, who wears the mask of virtue while playing the game behind closed doors, becomes untouchable. In relationships, the same law applies. The man who overshares, who constantly exposes his insecurities, becomes unattractive. Mystery fades, and with it respect. But the man who controls his image, who chooses what to reveal, becomes magnetic. The mask of strength draws attention, even if beneath it lies uncertainty. The ruthless understand that attraction is not built on confessions. It is built on controlled perception. In business, investors do not follow weakness. They follow confidence. A CEO may be drowning in chaos, but if he projects certainty, people believe. The company survives not because reality is stable, but because perception says it is. This is why the ruthless win, not because they are flawless, but because they understand that masks are weapons. The world does not reward truth, it rewards what it chooses to see. The courage to act. The ruthless win because they act when others hesitate. Machiavelli understood. Opportunities do not wait. Fortune favors the bold, and hesitation is the death of power. The good man often waits for permission, trapped in doubts, paralyzed by the fear of judgment. But while he hesitates, the ruthless man strikes. And history only remembers the one who dared to move first. In politics, nations are not shaped by hesitation. The leader who waits for everyone's approval loses the throne before he even sits on it. The ruthless leader, the one who dares to act in the moment of crisis, rewrites the future. He may be condemned at first, but later he is remembered as the one who saved, conquered, or built. The coward dies in silence. The bold carve their names into eternity. In relationships, hesitation is equally fatal. The man who fears rejection, who hides his desire, who buries his words, becomes invisible. The woman forgets him before she even remembers his name. But the man who dares, who speaks, who acts, who risks being denied, becomes unforgettable. Because even rejection respects courage, while hesitation is forgotten instantly. In business, markets move fast. The entrepreneur who waits for perfect conditions never begins. His ideas rot in silence. But the ruthless entrepreneur who risks failure, who sacrifices comfort, who makes hard moves when others freeze, becomes the one who dominates. Success is not given to the cautious. It is seized by the bold. This is why the ruthless win. Because hesitation is a luxury only the powerless can afford. Power belongs to those who dare, not to those who wait. And the world remembers the bold long after it has buried the cautious. The ends that justify. The ruthless win because they do what others will not. Machiavelli revealed this timeless truth. The world does not reward intentions, it rewards results. Men may question your methods, but they will live under your results. And when survival is at stake, when power is on the line, the question is not, was it fair? The question is, did it work? In politics, history forgives the ruthless victor and condemns the noble loser. The ruler who sacrifices purity for stability is remembered as a founder. The one who clings to ideals while losing the throne is remembered as a fool. The people do not starve less because their leader was honest. They starved less because their leader was effective. Results erase the stain of method, but failure stains forever. In relationships, the same law holds. The man who refuses to set limits because he wants to remain good ends up broken, ignored, invisible. But the man who risks conflict, who enforces boundaries, who accepts being disliked for the sake of respect, achieves what matters: dignity. She may not love the way he acted, but she cannot deny the result. And that result is respect. In business, companies do not survive by appearing virtuous. They survive by making hard, often brutal decisions. The entrepreneur who lays off to save the company is hated in the moment, but years later, he is remembered as the one who preserved the empire, the one who refuses to act because it feels cool, watches his company collapse, and no one thanks him for being kind. This is why the ruthless win, because they understand what the naive refuse to see. Morality is a luxury. Results are survival. The world does not remember how you tried. It remembers if you succeeded. And in the end, success justifies everything. The final lesson: the ruthless win, because they accept reality as it is, not as they wish it to be. Machiavelli stripped away the illusions. Power does not belong to the pure, to the kind, to the patient. Power belongs to those who act, who strike, who wear the mask when needed, who risk hatred for the sake of victory. And while the good man dreams of fairness, the ruthless man writes history. Look back across time. Who is remembered, the noble who lost with dignity, or the ruler who won with blood? Who controls the world today, the naive who wait for approval, or the ones who take what they want without asking? The answer has not changed for centuries: the ruthless. They are feared, hated, admired, but never ignored. And that is the essence of power, to be unforgettable, untouchable, unshaken. In your life, the same choice is before you. You can cling to goodness without strength and remain a victim, or you can embrace strength without apology and carve your own path. The ruthless win because they are willing to do what you are not. And until you accept that truth, you will always play the game instead of mastering it. So ask yourself, when history writes your story, will you be remembered as the man who waited, or the man who won? If you've reached this point, you already know the world does not reward the good. It rewards the ruthless. Power is never given, it's taken. And those who hesitate are forgotten. But now the question is yours. Will you keep playing by their rules, or will you master the game? Subscribe now and tell me in the comments. Do you believe fear lasts longer than love?